Hello and welcome to the sideboard here at the StarCityGames.com Standard Open in Milwaukee, our first one. And I'm here with Sam Kuprewicz. Sam, we've got your deck laid out in front of us, and I gotta be honest, it's definitely one of the more unique decks in the room. You're playing, like 20 cards probably that very few other people have even registered.
It's mostly draft leavings.
Mostly draft leavings. Well, what do you call it? It's a BUG Aggro deck. Do you have a pet name for it?
Mostly draft leavings.
Mostly draft leavings.
Just the name of the deck.
All right. Well, obviously, an aggressive deck, you're curving out with Experiment 1, kind of the linchpin of your deck, similar to how Experiment Jung works out. Yep. But you have a very different creature base to evolve Experiment 1. You can even get him a good bit higher, I would guess, than that deck usually does. So why don't you go ahead and just run us through what you're trying to do here.
Okay, so you're trying to have an early start with either Experiment Young or Experiment 1 or Young Wolf, normally on turn 1, followed by a Strangleroot Geist on turn 2, or a Zamek Guildmage. That's the ideal. You have a more aggressive curve with like Dreg Mangler on the high end and Wolfear Avenger. But there's a lot of synergy between the Undying cards and something like Zamek Guildmage, or you can even Rapid Hybridization one of your cards away, and that really helps evolve Experiment 1. I got him up to a 4/4 today, but he normally does not get that big. You top your curve off with the Duskmantle Seer, who's definitely the MVP of the deck.
Sure.
Just because there's so many decks in the format that have 5s, 6s, 7s in there. So I just played against Junk Reanimator. So like it hits Thrag Tusks, it hits Angels of Serenities. That's
all those big cards. It seems like a fantastic way to punish these people trying to play Blasphemous Act now as well.
Yeah.
9 damage is a lot to take at any given point. I don't care how many Blood Artists you're playing.
Right.
So you mentioned the synergies, and you really do have a lot with Undying. You already said Rapid Hybridization, it's a good one. But Zamek Guildmage plays real nice with Dreg Mangler and Young Wolf to give you a bit of a long game, it feels like.
Yeah.
Which in conjunction with Duskmantle Seer, you actually have a fair bit of card draw if you have to stop attacking.
Yeah, and that happens against like the Aristocrats deck, or anything that plays Lingering Souls in general. If you don't draw a Rancor, the game tends to go really long.
Sure.
And Zamek Guildmage, I had one game where it was sort of drawing me cards, but I mean, you still need to hit the Rancors against Lingering Souls type decks to even get past that sort of thing.
Makes sense, makes sense. You are taking advantage of a smattering of spells with your 2 Snapcaster mages. You got 1 Simic Charm, 1 Slip, 2 Decay, 2 Hybridization. Reasonable numbers. I think it's good to be able to play 2 Slips in a game or whatever thanks to the Snapcaster. But the most interesting spell you have has to be Spell Rupture.
Right.
So obviously this card is not really the second coming of Mana Leak, as it were, but how has it played out for you?
I really haven't drawn it much today, to be honest. But when I do, it's normally very good. Really dealing with only 1 threat is pretty much all you need to do. The Snapcasting, the Spell Rupture, it just almost never happens. I would say Snapcaster is just the worst card in the deck.
Oh wow, really? You are light on instant, so it's not that surprising.
Like you normally have 1,
exactly.
So it's about what you need to get back. Simic Charm has been really powerful when I draw it, so normally you want to Snapcast back either Simic Charm or Spell Rupture.
Sure.
Snapcasting Rapid Hybridization is normally pretty lackluster.
Yeah, you're not usually getting that much out of it unless you're playing it as a trick.
I mean, if you have like the Experiment 1 and an Undying Wolf or Undying anything in play, and you Snapcaster, evolve, flash that back, and then you evolve more. So you can get a lot of tricks during the combat step, but usually that doesn't happen.
Okay.
Usually you're just either attacking through most of what they have early game, because a lot of the slower decks just can't do anything against the Undying creatures. They can try and Supreme Verdict, but they just come back and Rancor them again. And the faster decks, like the Naya humans, like they have a harder time dealing with things like Dreg Mangler and the Avenger, and just the Undying on your creatures gives you more advantageous trading.
So in some ways the deck has a bit of the Predator's deck to it, some very resilient creatures, but rather than go with a really tough mana base and that particular creature, you've got things like Duskmantle Seer and a couple ways to actually generate card advantage.
Yeah, you don't really need the resilience of an indestructible creature in this sort of deck. Like
just the Undying and
it's nice, but yeah, I think Predator Ooze is it's not so great right now because there's plenty of like bounce and tragic slips pretty powerful right now. Yeah, so I would much prefer to be playing something like this over the Predator Ooze deck.
Makes sense to me. We'll move on to your sideboard. We'll start with a card that actually bled his way into the main deck. You got a Singleton there, 2 more on the board. A card that's been very popular recently, Evil Twin. Obviously, it's a pretty big weapon against Reanimator. I sense that for you, it's also just a really nice weapon against Thragtusk, given that you're an aggressive.
It's mostly for Thragtusk. Yeah. Against Reanimator, you have better sideboard cards if they're really aggressive on the Reanimating, because you've got it.
Yeah, I see. You've got 3 Deathrite Shaman, 2 Memories Journeys. Those are all obviously great ways to shut down an Angel of Serenity attempt. But you also have 3 Golgari Charms. Do you bring those in against Reanimator for the mana guys, or no?
Against Junk Reanimator, yeah. If it's playing more like the Faithless Looting type,
sure, then
not really. But if a lot of them run the 7/1 drops, and then I don't really bother with the Graveyard Hate. You just focus more on the Golgari Charm, Tragic Slip, and Evil Twin because they're high end. They have to normally cast that because you've disrupted their mana so much.
Okay.
So if they cast a Thragtusk, they're not likely to return that, just because you've disrupted their mana. And if they are, you're normally very ahead at that point.
Yeah, I like this deck's ability to actually use multiple modes on the Golgari Charm. Also seems pretty sweet.
Golgari Charm is probably the best card on the board so far. It comes in against humans. It comes in against anything that has 1 toughness creatures. It comes in against like Bant or anything that can Supreme Verdict you.
Right.
So it's having 3 cards in 1 on your sideboard.
Yeah, it seems very versatile in an aggressive deck, which we haven't really seen it get a lot of play in. Obviously, it's like every now and then an Experiment Giant, but that deck has also kind of fallen off recently. But this deck looks very exciting. What's your record in the tournament right now?
I am currently 4-0.
Currently 4-0.
My buddy Jeremy is playing the exact same 75. He was 3-0 last time I checked.
All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and let you get back to killing everyone with Dust Mantle. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it.